All right. As one door opens, another door closes or nears closing with the Major League Baseball regular season. Uh, Roman Anthony appears to be done for at least the regular season, potentially period for 2025 with his oblique injury. I think this is a big blow. I mean, I know I'm not alone, but like I'm saying, like fatal. I mean, he's been their best player, and it's obviously their first game without him is not indicative of his absence. But like he was one of your few remaining difference makers, and you need difference makers, and without that guy, without a Rafael Devers, without a Willier Abreu, who is kind of like creeping in there Christian Gonzalez territory of like, wait a second, when is this guy actually going to play again? Um, it seems funny. Just like a week ago, Mike, you and I were talking about the Red Sox should be in the discussion with the American League pennant as much as anybody. I think this is as big a blow as like they can have of a non Garrett Crochet, Aroldis Chapman level of injury.
I've got a lot on this.
Okay,
Sit back.
First, like,
get out the notebook.
you know who would be great in the middle of this lineup now that you don't have Roman Anthony? It'd be great to have a left-handed slugger in the middle of this lineup. No, but you traded him to San Francisco in the middle of the goddamn season for a guy who's pitching mop up behind the opener. Like, get out of here. It's again, and this is why I wouldn't have done it in the middle of the freaking season when you still had hopes of contending. Because we just got done talking about the Patriots' depth. What's the Red Sox depth? What? And then tangentially tied to that, what did you do at the deadline? How did you augment and make this roster better in case your 21-year-old who you're relying way too much on gets hurt? Where is that? So like I don't want to let them off the hook for like the season being over because it's just like I don't know, like go out there again, like there's no reinforcements coming. Like I guess Abreu maybe if he can get healthy, but like so it's like the the cart is the hay, the barn, whatever. We're gone. Like this thing is over. But like it's it's just a reminder like you could have done more. I still think it was a misstep to trade Devers as I, continued to hammer that home. Or like you could have done more if you were hell bent on trading Rafael Devers, you could have done so in a way that made your team better this year, but you want to just completely dump the contract, so there that goes. Except for the fact that you take on Jordan Hicks's contract, and it's like this guy sucks. Everyone could have told you that. They've been in love with him forever, and it's like now you're stuck paying that guy on top of the fact that your lineup is not as deep as it was. So now you're screwed in that regard too. Um,
So before you,
and
I
like
just want to just to underscore one of your points. So now,
yeah,
like Wednesday night's game and the game that they played in San Francisco is now an example of two games that they literally
I mean
lost because of that deal.
that
That you
that
can't get Kyle
yeah.
Harrison can't make you a spot start, and Jordan Hicks can't get you a couple innings in a useless
What are we
Wednesday
doing?
game in early September when you just need somebody to fill innings. And you add that to obviously the game in San Francisco when they played against Devers about a month ago. And it's like that is two games that you can specifically point to direct line from that deal to them losing those games, and they're 2.5 games out of first. Like it's the direct line. So sorry, continue.
No, and like to that same point, but like making a different variation of that point is that you ran out of lineup when your best player goes down. You run out of lineup that over the course of a 9 inning game, you saw Nate Eaton, Nate Lowe, David Hamilton, Romy Gonzalez, Rob Refsnyder, Nick Sogard, and Ali Sanchez all play. And I know that they're, but like again, yeah, injuries are going to happen. So like, having Abreu hurt or having Narvaez hitting a wall at the end of a season, his first big league season, is like all of this stuff should have been accounted for, whether it was trading Devers or doing a better job at the deadline. I also think, and they get all the credit in the world for the Anthony contract extension. So like the point that I'm going to make now is a little less important because they've signed him and some other guys to some contract extensions. But like, let this be a reminder going into the offseason that just because you have the best goddamn farm system 3 years running doesn't mean shit just falls into your lap and you win World Series again. You know what I mean? Like, guys get hurt and you lose them for the 3 most important weeks of the season, or guys get hurt in spring training and you lose them for the entire season. And so now all of a sudden, this idea that we have 6 years of Crochet, Anthony, Meyer, Campbell, Narvaez, Abreu, whoever else you want to throw on that list, is no sure thing. And the way that you can combat that more often than not is by spending money in the offseason and going out and getting a number 3 starter in which you maybe have to pay a guy $25 million when you would have been more comfortable paying him 17. But that's just the cost of doing business when you want to be a World Series contender in a big market. So like, again, I don't want to sit here and overreact to like the fact that Roman Anthony's season is probably over and a year that they probably weren't going to win the World Series anyway. But it's just a reminder that like you could have the best plan in the world and it just doesn't always work out. Like there's multiple, countless examples of this across baseball of teams that had great farm systems, got them to the big leagues, and just never took off the way that they thought they would because of injuries, lack of performance, or unwillingness to spend money in a way that makes sense.
100% of their big 3 is now not playing on the major league roster, like because they have 2 injuries and 1 he just can't figure it out. And then you continue that. Tristan Casas, who is still in a way like a prospect, like he's not like a literal like minor league prospect, but he's still a guy that you're projecting. He's hurt, and then Wilyer Abreu, who might be like maybe furthest along as that of that like young crop, he's also not playing. So like of the guys that like a year or 2 years ago that you were looking at being the future of Red Sox baseball, right now you've got Ceddanne Rafaela is playing, and maybe if you want to say Connor Wong is having the worst year of his career. I mean, shit happens. Yeah.
I mean, just to double on pretty much everything that you guys have said, like that was my big thing is they entered the season with such high and unrealistic expectations when it came to the younger guys. And for, like you said, all 3 of them to not even be in the lineup anymore, like they left them no room for error. Essentially, and whether it be injury or poor play, kind of seconding what you guys said.
I mean, the Peyton Tolley experience is a great example. We're so excited about this guy coming up and being a reinforcement, but he can't pitch every 5 days, or at least they don't want him to pitch every 5 days.
Why is he here?
But like with that, like where he's already on like the what's the word? Kind of like the once a week like Friday showcase rotation.
He's like the like a college, in college baseball, like you're the Friday pitcher is like the ace. You pitch every Friday to start the weekend series. Yeah, he's back at TCU, like is the Friday guy.
So
the other thing I want to just like again, the deadline is it's just hilarious. Like that Wednesday night game, Hicks, Matz, and May all pitched in that game. The game in which you ran out Brendan Bernardino 12 hours or not 12 hours, 20 hours after he closed out a game as an opener. Can't get out of the first inning. You bring in Hicks, who just lights, throws gasoline on the fire. Then you hand it over to Matt, and then you use May. It's like, why? So you got 3 mop-up guys at the deadline? That was the plan? Like, good night. Man. It's annoying. It's just like they were so close, and like it shouldn't have. And it's unfair to Roman Anthony too to like be like Roman Anthony's hurt, the season's over. Like that should never have been the case.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised that Kyle Harrison hasn't been, is that a better question? Should I be surprised that Kyle Harrison hasn't been called up?
Well, the plan from what I understand it is that he was going to on Wednesday, but I don't know if there's a miscommunication or they just decided
he got an ankle injury
because that's what it was. Yeah, he left his last start.
He's got an ankle injury, so like that's the other thing too. Yeah. This guy's hurt.
Yeah. But that's was why you got him and Hicks. Like you got you got Kyle Harrison for exactly this situation.
For
You
yeah.
got Jordan Hicks, whatever, Kyle Hicks. Yeah, it's just, uh, um, it's it stinks. I mean, I guess my expectations are still, they're not totally shattered if Abreu can return at any point, because I do think that was one thing is having a competent right field. It does make a difference, but now they have nobody to play right field. And not that Roman Anthony was technically good out there, but he was certainly better than. I mean, what are they going to go with now? Are they going to be Ref Snyder? I mean, it can't be Duran.
I guess. And like that's where you start to lose me. Is when you start running out,
Yeah.
the Ref Snyders of the world on an every night basis. And like, yeah, I mean Anthony, right field, whatever, but the guy is squaring the ball up like 60% of the
Yeah.
time, which is a rate that nobody does. So like you live with it. Like you put Sean out there if that's the offensive production that you're gonna get, or just the threat. So yeah, I'm with you though. Like if Abreu gets back, like this thing, they could still go on a run or whatever. Like that's what's maddening about it is like they didn't do enough to prepare themselves in the start, the middle, or the end of 2025, which has been my contention all along, and my like annoyance all along is that like they didn't approach this season the way that they said they were going to approach it, and that's now it's starting to blow up in their face.
Yeah, because I
So
mean,
what?
come postseason time, it's like it studs makes a difference
Yep.
in the postseason,
Yep.
and the Blue Jays have studs. I'm not the biggest Bichette fan, but like Bichette this season and Guerrero, Springer, they're studs. The Yankees, Judge, studs. Like they have studs, and if like the Red Sox, there's I I don't know. People want to consider Duran in that category of like a stud. I don't think he's that. I mean, Bregman's really slumped. Trevor Story is producing. I don't think he's a difference maker. I don't know. It's yeah.
The thing with the stud idea is that for me in the playoffs it goes with that. I look at pitching more than anything else, and like
Yeah.
yes, Rob Ref Snyder can be the lefty killer, but like I'm no disrespect to him without looking at the numbers. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say like when we're talking lefty killers, we're not exactly talking Tarek Skubal and Max Fried, right? Like maybe he's got great numbers against those guys. I don't know, and if he does, I apologize dearly, but those guys are the ones that are probably gonna end up shoving it up your ass when you're sending out the Romy Gonzalez's and Rob Ref Snyders of the world.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like Ben, you said something about your expectations aren't like completely shattered, but what would your expectations be as of right now? Like in terms of they're gonna get to the playoffs.
Yes, I still think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that the Texas and Houston and Seattle are kind of beating up on each other in a way that like only one of them is going to get in. I think I think it 100% depends on whether they're home for that first round series. Like if they're home, let's say it's against the Yankees, I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of faith. If they're on the road in Yankee Stadium, I don't, because then the Yankees like they can play Stanton in right field and kind of do some weird stuff with their lineup. So to me, it just depends on whether they're home for that first series.